Needs have changed, the demographic has changed. We are, we are post the social settlement.
We need to have the bravery and the intelligence to rethink from first principles how public services are delivered and what we think they're trying to achieve.
If we just assume that innovation is too dangerous because it may not work, we have to accept that there are many things that we do day in, day out in social care that do not work at the moment.
There needs to be more of a culture of trust and hope for the way in which the world could look if we let people use their imagination.
Maintaining the status quo is no longer an option.
In this programme, we'll see the work of 3 voluntary sector agencies, all of which have developed affordable solutions to different challenges by starting with the same simple question: what do you want?
It's very hard for people to be able to articulate this is what I want to do if they've never been given any options to do anything in the first place.
By starting with this group of people and by helping them see that their difficulties are valuable, we can maybe start to make innovations that help a huge section of the population, lots of different people.
Headway, East London, work with people with acquired brain injury. For many Headway members, the path back into mainstream employment often proves to be a dead end, a problem not readily resolved by traditional approaches.
These guys that we've been working with for 3, 4, 5 years, they've been going off to their rehab courses, spending 12 weeks doing interview skills or CV writing, and then they've had a job placement at the end, and then they come back to us. Because no job materialises, because the situation is the same. In some cases they do get a job and they do that for 2 months, and then they come back to us when they get sacked.
For a good few years I worked in bars. I ended up being relegated to the responsibility of collecting glasses. Couldn't seem to cope with the stress, the demands of people ordering drinks.
I tried to paint a wall and I put the wrong colour on the wall. My brother stopped me that minute, told me to make teas and stuff. That's the only job that I've had in the last 7.5 years.
Expecting them to somehow stop having the difficulties that they have, or somehow in some cases achieve this monumental task of accommodating themselves to the competitive employment market, is essentially unrealistic. So instead we're saying, what do you want to do? What do you want to do today? What do you want to do with the rest of your life? And then find ways to make that happen.
If I were to be an animal, I think I'd be a cat, a house cat.
As an alternative to orthodox occupational schemes, Ben and Headway's members are developing a range of entrepreneurial projects, which they've called the Discovery Programme.
One project that we're making is a documentary film where three team members are learning from scratch how to make a film, and the subject matter is, what is it like to live with a brain injury?
I've got 2 cats and they seem to have a life while they want to do is eat, sleep, eat, and maybe catching a mouse.
I never ever contemplated about being a film course or making a film, so it's completely new to me and new to the others as well. So we are basically learning on the job. Everything we've learnt so far is by trial and error.
There have been times where we've worried that we've kept people
waiting.
Waiting for a long time. And we're fiddling with the camera and fiddling with the sound and fiddling with the lighting.
Yeah, that was at the beginning. I think we're a bit more sure of ourselves now.
The longer term intention with this is that we can then help other people, maybe on the basis of a social enterprise. Our team members can teach other disadvantaged groups about filmmaking.
Could have them just say house cat.
Yeah, nice and chill.
I think I'll be a cat, a house cat.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
Great.
Another project we're pursuing at the moment makes direct use of people's expertise having survived brain injury.
It could be part geographic and part, mind map. So we could actually say, look, okay, here in the centre we've got Headway. We're all here because of Headway.
Yeah. The mapping project involves engaging people and explaining what it's like for you living in London with a brain injury.
Jumped on the train and it took me all the way to Liverpool Street.
I walked up Upper Street and then I did Essex Road.
One idea is that we can develop a consultancy. We'll start to work with industry, architecture, urban planning. And what we'll bring to those is sensitivity to the urban environment and the lived experience of the urban environment, which other people don't have.
Imagine what it's like when you're really, really drunk and you've got to do a task such as get home. You just tend to find yourself sitting in the corner of, I don't know, a closed supermarket and just waiting for the morning to happen. And that's what it's a bit like with brain injury. You can't understand why you can't navigate, but you can't.
I went to Knightsbridge once to buy a suit, and then I went to the bank to get the money out. And after that, I couldn't find the shop that I just went into. It took me about nearly 2 hours for me to find the shop again. It was on the other side of the road.
By helping them see that their difficulties are valuable, we can maybe start to make innovations that help a huge section of the population. We all get lost sometimes.
What we've all been drawing here, you know, our interests or, you know, our wishes or, you know, our journeys, you know, to and from a place, but also our experiences on the way.
All of the projects, there's a common aim, which is, I guess, inclusion more broadly. So people who are otherwise left out through these projects being brought in to public life.
For Britain's 1.5 million people with learning disabilities, being left out is all too common a story.
It was always, you know, arguments, bickering, shouting, so I left home and I left home. I didn't know what to do. I was stuck.
Had some bad problems that we got to being thrown out of one place and all that was going on and things like that. And then eventually, through the help of social services, they put me onto Keyring.
By providing help with housing and turning local strangers into friends, the national charity Keyring creates small networks through which people become active participants in their communities.
It's a one-to-one thing. Someone who gets problems or has a difficulty of things, we can then jump in and help everyone out. This is what basically Keyring is about.
Each Keyring network is matched with a volunteer who's provided with accommodation in the neighbourhood.
Many Keyring members have anxiety problems and they need to talk to someone, so they wouldn't be able to call social services just to talk about their problems. They know that they can always call me or knock on my door.
I normally help my friends with shopping. If no one can help out, like Joanna, and she's working, I can then help out. If I'm stuck, they'll help me out.
Many of our Keyring members have been abused in the past, so they're really scared to make friends. They're really scared to talk to strangers or even to their neighbours. We encourage people to make friends with other Keyring members. They know that people who they meet have been checked and it's safe to talk to them.
I've got to know David. He's the first member I ever met. And Jackie started to move around the territory and then we got to know her.
Waiting for Paul.
He's got the
paper
brushes.
A few members are going to Jackie's flat to help her with the painting. And, well, because she hasn't had enough money to pay for decoration.
Oh, I'm taking tea bags. I'll be making tea for people shortly.
Oh, look at that, Jackie.
That is professional.
Decorating's my thing. Just always been involved with decorating when I was 8 and 9 years old. I love it.
We help each other out and we're good friends. We all get on. We all have a giggle, have a laugh.
My flat keeps falling apart.
That's typical council popsy for you.
I'm in a housing association, I'm lucky there.
Right folks, tea's up.
As I get going on one bit of the room, then I don't stop.
I think the most rewarding part of being a volunteer at Keyring is just seeing how our Keyring members' lives improve. Really, sometimes it's really amazing. They started going out more, meeting other people, making friends at Keyring. They've got plenty of hobbies now, so they're not just sitting at their flats completely alone, isolated, but they're part of the community now.
Really pleased with them. They've done a good job.
In another part of London, a contribution from someone outside the social care system is helping unlock other gifts and talents.
I was working as a full-time musician, playing the bass, and I basically became quite disillusioned with the mainstream industry, and I wanted to share my passion for making music with as many people as possible. And one of the groups that I met was a group of people with learning disabilities. I just found them to be very talented, you know, in a way that they hadn't really realised and I hadn't really realised. We then took on the name Heart and Soul, named after one of the songs that had been written. We'd had a tour to Belgium where a number of our performers had hoped to go to a nightclub. They were turned away because they had learning disabilities. So they said, why can't we have our own club then?
With funding from a variety of sources, including Arts Council England and Lewisham Council, Heart and Soul is now a large production company which tours internationally, and its flagship event is the beautiful Octopus Club.
We have an Indian marquee that's housing 4 different bands. We also have our BLT DJ crew who are playing outside. We've got a Japanese karaoke open mic slot, and generally lots of people just moving around, having fun, sharing great art.
Tonight we're going to be playing with KDNA, with my band including me, Kylie, Addison and Ned.
Good evening ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Heart and Soul's Beautiful Octopus Club.
We just originally gotten together and just like done loads of songs, so after these 2 towards the one that we got today and the other one, we're just gonna come back together and then just get a couple of more songs, new songs done, and see if we get more gigs really.
The importance of Heart and Soul is giving people with talent who happen to be learning disabled the opportunity to further their careers as singers, dancers, DJs, sound technicians, lighting technicians.
Please have a wander around the site and check out all the great things that are happening, including the legendary Dave Sawyer.
Dave Sawyer is an instrument designer, creates his original instruments, and they really broke down in my mind the barrier around, you know, musical instruments are kind of things like violins and very sophisticated keyboards that are quite inaccessible. And using his instruments just taught me that music can be made by everybody.
We're going to do a reggae one now, just for you.
Constant sort of challenge for us is to find ways where we don't prescribe and we don't tell people what they have to do or what they should do, but we offer people enough of a range of options and enough range of experiences to empower them to feel confident to say, actually, I've tried that, I want to do that. So it just becomes natural to see learning disabled artists and people everywhere, on the telly, on the radio, in the concert hall.
Innovation needn't be complex or expensive, but what's demonstrated by Heart and Soul, Key Ring and Headway is that it requires not just deciding what people need, but also finding out what they want.
If we just use the same old assumptions and the same old understandings of what the problem really is, we will end up with some very conventional solutions.
Innovation is a way of, is an approach which is standing back, looking at what you need to deliver within the resources there are to deliver them, and being imaginative.
All social care professionals would acknowledge there are just some things we need to do better. And innovation is about helping us to take on those problems that we're yet to solve, and to try to help people through social care to lead better lives.
In this film, we've seen just a few examples of cost-effective innovation. To share what you're doing, visit the Sky Good Practice Framework online.